Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the National Youth Anti-Drug Media Campaign. As you know, I'm Allie Riley, the head of advertising for the campaign. To begin today's presentation, I'd like us to take a look at a few famous logos. Right away when we see these, we think Pepsi, Nike, Apple, Nike, Pepsi, Mercedes-Benz. These logos have become so powerfully associated with the companies they brand that without any additional images, background, or text, we know exactly what is being sold and who is selling it. This is a result of effective advertising. Look familiar? So we as a campaign, we're nonprofit. We're not in the same league as these huge and popular companies. So how can we make our logo for the Above the Influence campaign become nationally recognized? We just don't have the same resources as some of those other companies. Well, we have not been successfully advertising our cause. We need to redesign and refocus our advertisements in order to make an impact on society. And given our current financial situation, we need to do this now. Here's an outline of today's presentation. First, I'll be giving you a brief history of the campaign. This will be followed by a reminder of our current ad and how it fails. Then I'll present you with two new advertisements which will revitalize our campaign. One is targeting socially active teenage girls. The other targets thrill-seeking teenage girls. Then I will conclude our presentation. Our campaign was initiated in 1998 by Congress to reduce and prevent drug use among young people in the United States. It combined media, advertising, internet, and other various outreach programs to provide anti-drug messages and skills. In 2002, the campaign was set to expire, but Congress reauthorized it, and it continues to receive funding from the federal anti-drug budget today. However, between 2001 and 2006, our campaign suffered a 47% budget cut. This cut began with a report released by Westat Incorporated in May of 2002. This report stated that campaign advertisements have no favorable effects on youth. This statement launched a period of controversy surrounding the effectiveness of our campaign as a whole that continues today. If we do not prove that our advertisements are making an impact on society, we will lose our funding. And we need to do this immediately because we have requested $130 million for the 2008 fiscal year. This is a $30 million increase from last year. There's no way we'll get this money unless we make a change now. So let's take a look at our current ad and examine how it fails. First, the color is forgettable and depressing. Like I mentioned in our last meeting, the color highlights the butterflies alone, but these butterflies don't convey an anti-marijuana message. Second, our text is a problem. Our redundant headline is not supported by our fine print. Neither of these aspects connect the image to our campaign. Why did we use butterflies? The third problem of our ad is a lack of sympathetic audience identification. This ad is abstract. It ignores the activities and interests of our audience. The ad features a nondescript girl avoiding the camera. She does not appeal to the intended audience. Lastly, the tone of the ad is authoritative, even parental. This will not make a good impression on readers. So how can we change this ad to make an impact on society? Well, this ad was on the right track by targeting teenage girls. Studies show that teenage girls have caught up with boys in illicit drug use, and marijuana is their substance of choice. Teenage girls are more likely to have weight issues than their male counterparts, and they're also 5 times more likely to have been sexually abused as children. These are both prominent predictors of drug abuse. Lastly, adolescent girls are more likely to suffer mentally and physically from substance abuse. Their brains and bodies are still developing. So the problem with this choice of target audience is that it's too broad. Yes, more specific advertisements won't appeal to every single teenage girl. However, they will have a positive behavioral impact on the readers to whom they do appeal. The first specific audience that I propose we target is socially active teenage girls. This is the most efficient audience we can target. They're the readers of today's most popular teen magazines, 17, Teen Vogue, Cosmo Girl. According to the 17 Media Kit, 17 magazine has at least 2 million teen readers. These readers, given the content of these magazines, are mostly socially active females. These readers are involved in their communities, athletically, academically, fashion, beauty. By being socially active, they're likely to be exposed to marijuana. How do we get through to these girls? Well, a poll on a website targeting socially active teens shows that guys, friends, and family are 3 of the top 10 most popular anti-drugs. Thus, an advertisement that shows the beauty of relationships will inspire these socially active teenage girls to stay above the influence. Here's the first ad. Right away, you notice the bright color is strategically placed. It not only creates a vector, but makes our ad visually appealing and will leave a lasting impression on readers. It persuades them to linger a little bit on our page. Second, the heading explains the images and is also supported by the fine print, which explains how the heading and the images relate to our campaign. Most importantly, this ad uses sympathetic audience identification. We've used real photographs featuring an everyday teenage girl with her boyfriend, friends, and family. The fine print contains a direct quote from the featured girl herself. This ad will remind these socially active teens that the feelings they get from the relationships in their lives are better than any high they could get from smoking marijuana. This ad should be run in magazines similar to the ones that our current ad is running in, Cosmo Girl, Teen Vogue, and 17. The second audience I propose we target is thrill-seeking teenage girls. According to the American Journal of Public Health, thrill-seeking is a potent drug risk factor. Thrill seekers are not necessarily bungee jumpers and skateboarders. Yes, they are commonly athletes, but they can also be everyday girls who are simply attracted to active and competitive behavior. These girls simply have a need to experience intense stimuli, and they look to drugs to get this stimulation. This ad will inspire these teens to stay above the influence. First, again, you notice we've used a color photograph, making the ad visually appealing. It also creates a sense of authenticity for our ad and thus our campaign. The headline is a play on words that relates our image to our campaign, and this connection is reiterated by the fine print. Again, most importantly, sympathetic audience identification. We have used a picture of a socially active teenage girl and fellow thrill seekers. We've used a picture of a thrill-seeking teenage girl, and thus fellow thrill seekers will identify with her. Again, we've used a quote from the featured girl, this time in the headline. This ad tells thrill seekers that they can get their thrills from competitive behavior, from competition, from activity. They don't have to turn to marijuana. This ad can be run in magazines such as Soccer America. However, this theme applies to all thrill seekers, not just soccer players, so it could also be run in any magazine that targets active and competitive girls with active hobbies. To conclude, I want you to really think about how important it is that we revitalize our campaign. An ad from us is not just a piece of paper in a magazine. We're not like other brands. We're not like Nike. We're not like Apple. We're not selling a product. We're promoting a way of life. If we fail, we're not just hurting ourselves. We're hurting America's youth. With these two ads in print, we will prove our campaign's effectiveness and maintain funding to make sure we do not lose the ability to make a difference in our country. This logo will become a symbol, our symbol, that we've become one step closer to creating a drug-free America. Thank you for your time.